Hello everyone, this video is going to be first tutorial of wapCAM. In this video I'm going to talk about CAD functions in 2D in this program. 3D and CAM functions aren't included in this tutorial. Okay, so firstly I start by a quick introduction of all CAD functions in 2D. So let's start. As you can see on the screen, we've got three main toolbars, the top one, the left one, and the right one. So let's start from the top one. In the left top corner, you can see this button. If you click here, you can see that we change between CAD functions and CAM functions. Next one is some kind of options. You can see here you can create a new project, open something, open some recent projects in this program, save as, import, export, print or plot, settings, help and exit. Okay, so in settings you can change the way you see the applications, change the colors, some vectors settings, and you can change the language. I'm not going to change anything. Okay, if you want to change the language, you have to close the app and open it again. Then you will see the change. Okay, then you can see those two buttons. With them you can make those toolbars from left and right side disappear. It can allow you to have a better view of your working space. Okay, so if you click it, it just disappears, and when you click back, it just goes back. Next, you have some undo and redo functions. So if you draw something, you can just undo it or redo it. Then zoom out and zoom in. It works like this. Then this button allows you to come back to the starting position of the working space. So if you click it, it just goes like this. Then this one allows you to hide the grid. So if you click it, the grid just disappears. You click it back, it just comes back. These two are very useful when you're drawing. So I'm going to come back to them in a minute. Then this is just delete button. This allows you to change the position of your working space, but when it's clicked you can't draw anything, so you have to just click it again and now you can draw. This is the preview of worm hitting map, but I'm not going to talk about this in this video. Next, those are some 3D functions, so I'm also not going to talk about them. And now we've got Workspace panel. You can adjust your settings in here. You can change the origin to the bottom left, right, bottom right, top left, top right, or in the center. You can change width, height, grid step, and major every, and you can change the units and relief, but I'm not going to change anything. It's good for me. Those two are for your tools or post processor, but I'm also not going to talk about it. And here you can see the coordinates. So let's start with some basic drawing functions. For now I'm not going to use right toolbar, so I'm going to close it. I'm only focusing now on those functions. So first of all, this is just drawing a line. Okay, like this. It's very simple. And now this function is very helpful for it, because when it's clicked, you can draw on the grid. Okay, like this. Okay. And this one, I can assure you that you create a shape from the node. So when I click, it just starts from the node like this. When this is closed, it's going to start from the node also. Okay, and it's not going to go the grid. This is just selecting, so you can either select like this, or just click on the object, and now we can delete it. For example, let's do it one like this, and then you can just delete it using the delete button on your keyboard. Okay, another very important thing with selecting is selecting with Shift. So it can help you very much if you'd like to select more than one shape. If we have, for example, those 4 lines, we have select function pressed. You can press Shift and click on every of them, and you're going to select all of them. Also, when all those things are selected, you can change the place of them in the working space by holding left button of a mouse and just moving it to the place where you'd like it to be. Okay, next important thing, which also includes selecting, is copying of those objects. So let's draw some rectangle, and if you'd like to copy it, you just have to select it, and you can copy it with Control pressed. You just move it wherever you want. If you'd like to, you can copy it as many times as you want. And next important thing about copying, you can copy it with Control plus D. Now it copies like this. Okay. Another thing is that when we have some shape, so let's draw a rectangle. We can press on it with right button of a mouse, and now we've got some functions. I'm not going to use every of them, but let's show you some of them. So for example, we can close or open it. We can create an offset. We can change it to triangle. Now we can change it back. Let's draw a spline. Now we can make it smoother. Okay, like this. Okay, so of course there's more of those functions, but as I said before, I'm not going to show all of them. Next function is a polyline function. So polyline works like this, that you click and just draw whatever shape you want. If you want to stop, you just have to click with the right button of your mouse, and you've got this shape. Okay, when this is clicked, you also are going to draw on the grid like this. Okay. Next function is spline. So spline, you just draw a spline like that. For example, like that. Right. Okay. Something like this. Okay. When this one is clicked, it's going to go more on a grid. Those nodes are going to be on the grid, have to be on the grid. And it looks like that. Okay, next one is just freehand drawing. So as you can see, freehand drawing continues. So you just draw whatever shape you like as you wish. And when this function is clicked, it's going to go on the grid also. So it's going to look more like that. Okay. Next function is just rectangle. So you just draw a rectangle like that. It's with when we want to draw on a grid. You can also draw it normally without a grid, something like this. Next one is a circle, so like that. It's very intuitive. Okay. When this function is clicked, you can just draw it more like on a grid. There's also one more way to draw a circle. When we have this function of circle pressed and we'd like to draw it from one point to another, we can use control, and now we don't draw the circle from the center of it, we just draw it like that. The center goes, and it looks like we're drawing like on from one point to another. Okay, so for example like this, we can also manipulate like that, change it. Okay, so that's another way to draw a circle in this program. Next function is an arc, so it works like that. You click in the starting point and in the next point, and you just draw a grid. You just draw an arc, sorry, like that. Next function is cut. So for example, let's draw some shape. Let's draw a rectangle and a circle like that, and I'm going to use cut. So okay, like that. So now we've got a shape like this using cut. Okay, next and very important function is nodes. So for nodes we have to draw some shape. So let's draw a rectangle, and now using nodes we can do a lot of things. First of all, we can create a new node by double pressing on it. So like that, we can change the shape by those nodes by like that. Okay. Next thing is that we can delete those nodes by pressing delete or backspace or using this bin button. Okay. Next very important thing is that we can change the shape if we have two nodes selected. Let's select those two nodes, and now if we hold the right button of a mouse, we can create a shape like that or like that. It changes. You can change this shape, this green shape, if you move your mouse to the top or to the bottom. If we go to the top, we can create this triangle, or to the bottom, we can create this other shape. And if you stop holding the mouse, it creates this shape. So I'm going to show you the other way around also. You have to hold it, and now we've got this triangle. Okay, and also we can create an arc by selecting 3 points. Now holding this, so we can create an arc like that or like that. So we've got a shape like this or like this. Okay, and that's it from nodes. Let's go to another function, and another function is transform. So transform is the function which allows us to change the width, the height, and another things. From it we can just change how it looks, and change the height, change the width, and change the size of it. And with control you can rotate it like this. With Ctrl Shift, you're going to rotate it by 15 degrees, like that. And that's it from those two functions. Let's draw two lines. And now let's use extend a line. And it extends to another line. Okay, so next function is join. Join is the function which can just join some lines which are close to each other, or an arc. So let's draw like 3 lines. They have to be close to each other. Okay, like that. And when they are close to each other, we can use join, and it's going to create one shape. You can also use it with arc and line. Going to join those two shapes like this. Okay, next function is mirror. Let's select it all. And mirror is going to just make a mirror image of it, so like this. Now, mirror Y works very similar. So you click it and do the mirror image, but on another axis. Next function is an union. So let's draw two circles. Okay, we've got the circles. Let's select them, and using union, it's gonna create shape that's a union of those two functions. And okay, we've got those two circles. Now let's use a very similar function, which is intersect. So now we've got just the intersect of those two shapes. Measure. So as you can see here, you can choose what dimensions you would like to measure. If you want to measure horizontal, you have to press X, vertical Y, 3, so from the point to the point where you click F. If you want to measure the angle, you have to press A, quadrant, Shift and Alt nodes. So let's just measure a couple of them because it's very intuitive. Okay, X. So for example, I'm going to press there and there, and we've got the X measured. Now let's measure the vertical with Y. Alright, and we have the vertical. Okay, now let's measure some angle. So like that. We've got the angle. Okay, measure is more universal. We can use measure to change the length and the height and other things of those shapes. So let's draw a rectangle, and I'd like to measure it. This function is very helpful for it because it allows us to measure from the nodes. So let's select it like that, and now we can see the length. And now when we double press on it with selecting, we can change the value. So let's make it like 500. Sorry, press cancel. So let's make it 500, and now you can clearly see that it changed the length. Now let's measure the height and let's change it. So when we double press, let's do this like okay, you can see the height changed. Okay, next to similar functions are XOR and subtract. So it works like that. If we have two shapes which collides with each other, we can select them and use XOR, and it's going to make it like two different shapes, which looks like that. And function subtract is going to work very similar, but it's going to, the bigger shape is going to stay. Now group and ungroup. So let's draw one rectangle and some circle. And if we want to group them, we have to press group. And now it's going to be like a one shape. If you want to separate them, we just have to press ungroup. Group. And now it separates from each other. Next function is going to be this one. So let's draw a rectangle. Okay, we have some rectangle. You can select the distance. So let's say 20. Okay, and when you press on it, it's gonna create another rectangle like that. If you want to go in another side, you just have to have minus before it, and now it's going to go in the middle. Okay, next one. Let's draw another rectangle. For example, 665. Okay, and when you press here, sorry, going to create some new shape. Okay, and the last one of those is face. Let's not change it. Okay, it's too small, so let's just do, I don't know, 77. And now, okay. All right. Now we have something like this. All right, so now the text. You can adjust the text to your needs, change the font, change the height, letter spacing. If you want to make this text bold or italics, let's write something. Okay. You can choose if you want this to be straight text or text along a line. Let's say straight text, and we've got a wapCAM. Okay, now we'd like to have a text along a line, so let's draw a line. Now have a text on the line. Okay, and the last thing that I'm going to talk in this video is this function. It's called trace raster relief. It works for 3D models, but I can show it to you. Let's draw a rectangle and let's create a 3D model. Let's do a pyramid, for example. Okay. You have to select this, and now we've got the 3D model. Okay, you can see this 3D model. Looks like that. And now when we have it in 2D, we can create like something like an offset, but of a 3D function. So you can either click and create it in the place when you want, or press right button of a mouse and you can choose the contour step. So for example, let's do like 3 mm. Now it creates, it looks like an offset, but it's an offset of 3D function, of 3D shape. And that's it. That's all the functions I'd like to show you in this video. Thanks for watching.